You are better than you think you are. Today we're going to be discussing aggression, but before we do, I want to talk about a popular misconception, a popular misunderstanding in pool. So, pool, we are taught to believe, is a game that's about making balls. It's about shooting balls in the pockets. And the truth is, it's not. Pool is a game of control. It's about controlling the game. It's about controlling the match. Now, it is true that the best way to control the game is to run the table. If you run the table and your opponent never gets a chance to shoot, then yes, you have controlled the table, you have won the game. However, it comes up fairly often. If you think about the statistics, at the pro level, at the professional level, the average, according to AccuStats, is in the mid 20% for break and run. That means that 1 in 4 racks gets run, and the other 3 don't. And there's a variety of reasons for that. And I think that the statistic, and I'd have to look this one up, but I think that it's in the low 30s that it's a one inning game, meaning that maybe you break and don't run, and the other player runs out from there uh, at the pro level. Now, it's important to understand this concept, and it's really misunderstood. Uh, so I was down at the local bar and grill the other day, picking up some dinner. I ordered some food, and a friend of mine was shooting pool. He's a good player. He's a high B, very high B, or a low A. And he was playing against a guy that's basically a bar banger. He's a C or a D at best. And so my buddy broke. They were playing 8 ball. He broke and ran out his set, and then missed the 8 and left it sitting on the end rail. The other guy, as he's walking over to the table, looks at me and says, "Well, I guess I lost this one." No, you didn't. That is the worst thing you can do in 8 ball, is to break and run everything except the 8 ball. Because the player who has all the balls on the table has all of the options and can take and keep you from ever having a good shot at the 8. At that point, it's going to take a big mistake for the person who's on the 8 ball to win the game. It's going to take a huge mistake. The other player's either going to have to leave the 8 ball, or the player that or miss a shot and have the other player just get lucky and make a massive kick or something like that. So it's if you think about it, think about all the mainstream games: 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball, straight pool, one pocket, all of them. How many balls are you required to run to win the game? The answer for all of them is 1. You only have to have a 1 ball run to win the game. 9 ball, somebody can run down all the balls on the table and miss the 9. You make the 9, you win. Except in APA, and I'll never play that rule set. They bastardized straight pool and 9 ball. Don't know why they did it. Hate that they did it. Will never play that rule set. 10 ball, player can run all the way 9 balls and then leave the 10, and you shoot the 10 and you win. 8 ball, the only ball that counts is the 8 ball. What I'm getting at is, all of the balls on the table leading up to that ball that wins the game, all of those balls do nothing for you except advance you towards the ball that wins. So you don't have to run tables to win games. When we're talking about control, there's this whole side of the game, which is the safety game, the strategy game, which really gets neglected up until you get into the high A level level of play. And it gets neglected because we're taught in everything we do to pocket balls. We practice against the ghost. We do drills on how to make balls. And so when you're at the table and you're playing and you're in a tournament, uh, you tend to shoot to make balls. Well, the truth is, sometimes, like the shot you just saw me shoot on the table, sometimes it's better to shoot the solid safety, leave the other person nothing, and work for that ball in hand, and then you're basically playing the ghost at that point. Then it is a run out. And hey, if you can't run out, you can always duck. Okay, now, again, I am not saying that you should constantly be ducking if you don't have to. What I'm saying is that the strategy part of the game is a big deal. It was the shift in thinking that took me from being, another local A player, top of the, cheap tournament game, took me from that and moved me into where I was competing with some of the best in the world. And it was that understanding of, there's the concept of risk management, which we are going to cover here very soon. Um, and it was the understanding that sometimes you just don't want to shoot at it. You may see the shot, make the shot like I just did, uh, but have an unfavorable outcome from that shot. So learning to think about pool in terms of control rather than thinking about it in terms of how do I run this table is really important. Now, as you're going to see here, sometimes the other player is just going to get lucky, and they'll end up getting out on you if you choose that path. So before we go any further, just a quick reminder that you got to take care of the people around you too. I love pool. I could sit there and play pool all day, but sometimes you just got to pay attention to the people who need your attention. Uh, you know, taking a break every now and then is a good thing. This is just a happy puppy moment. Enjoy, relax, and then we're going to talk about aggression on the table. But hey, she wanted to get involved in the video, so here she is. That's Sky. She was a rescue. Um, the people I got her when she was 6 months old. Somebody had beat her, and her back legs don't work properly. She can't jump. So you know, but she's just a great happy puppy. Okay, yeah, I know you're here for the pool, so we'll get back to that just as soon as she beats me out to the ball. All right, so let's talk about aggression. Now, I am talking about aggression on the table, and aggression is a big topic. So when I'm talking about aggression, I'm talking about ha- going after shots, how you make the decision on whether you're going to go after one and duck. And what I'm going to tell you is that we are all overly aggressive. We've been taught that way by the way that we practice. You look at videos on the internet and you see people going for these phenomenal shots. You see uh, spectacular leaves like the Corey Duel massive draw leave. And then you go off and you practice those and you try to get them. But the truth is that those shots, um, those will lose you games. Trying to go after everything and shoot everything will lose you games. Uh, what I would suggest instead is that we all have a certain level of ability. We all have a certain level of shot making. We all have a certain level of play. And the key to aggression is that you should only be shooting shots that you're fairly certain you can make. If there's any question about it, uh, then don't shoot it. Duck. Um, Here, a miss will cost the game because that 9 ball's sitting in the pocket. Could I have cut the 3 in the side? Yeah. But if I do, I run a pretty good chance of scratching and giving up the game. And if I duck, I stand a pretty good chance of actually getting to a place where I can make that 9 ball. Or run out, either one. It's not that many balls and they're fairly open. Um, so aggression, the correct level of aggression changes. It changes regularly. It changes based on your mood. It changes based on table conditions. It can change based on the humidity. It can change, or the weather. It can change for a lot of reasons. But you should have a pretty good handle on how aggressive you can afford to be. And everybody makes this mistake. Even the pros make this mistake. Go watch the Mosconi Cup from this year, the 2020 or 2021 Mosconi Cup. The table at the Mosconi Cup is tuned to be incredibly fast, incredibly tight. The rails are super bouncy. It's almost to the point of not being able to control the cue ball. And the shots are harder because of the way the rails are set up. There were quite a few times when players uh, went for shots that they would make normally, but because of the table conditions, they should have toned down their aggression. Um, yes, we all like to see people make balls, and yes, that's what's really popular and draws viewership. But the fact is that the the European team did a much better job of playing down to to the table conditions than the U.S. did, and as a result, they got a big win. Go watch it. I'm telling you, a lot of it, and it is on YouTube, by the way. Um, if you watch it, you will find that really the difference in the matches was that the U.S. was much more aggressive as a team than the Europeans were. Um, so you have to adjust your level of aggression based on the table and based on your shot making ability. Okay, if you are only let me see how to say this. If you are a let's say you're a C player, okay, you make a lot. You get the occasional run when the table's not too bad. Sometimes you get lucky, but for the most part, you're good for 3 or 4 balls and then you miss. Well, if you take the time to figure out what your strengths actually are, if you take the time to understand your own game and then tune your level of aggression to it, you will find that you are going to move up. It's a big deal, and it gets underplayed all the time. By the way, on this shot here, I can make the 1. I don't feel comfortable in getting the leave on the 2. So what do? I play the really tight safety. Um, Kind of wanted to be a little bit more behind the 3 to take away that short rail that I'm going to actually hit it on. But playing playing and tuning your aggression is something you can do. Doesn't require you to get any better, but it will raise the number of games you win, and raise the number of matches you win simply because everybody else is being overly aggressive. If you get your aggression level right, then uh, if you get your aggression level right, or if it's better than theirs, you'll win the match. Let's face it. If you're a C player or a B or an A, it doesn't matter what level you are. The other people playing at that same level have the same shot making ability. It may be different shots that they're better at, but everybody at a given level has the same shot making ability as everybody else at that given level. What makes the difference in the game is taking the shots and making the choices to not take shots in the safety play. That's the difference in the game. Here's a perfect example on the table right now. Okay, here's a wide open table. The two can be made with a bank shot, but you have to let the cue ball go. Um, Theoretically, it can be cut in the bottom right corner, but again, you have to let the cue ball go. But if you just play a nice, easy safety, there's a natural safe right there with the 7 ball to hold up the cue and ensure the safety. I'll let somebody jump at that all day long. Be aggressive. Get out that jump cue. I'll watch you miss, and I'll run the table on you from there. So, the point that I'm making is we tend to be overly aggressive. We tend to shoot at every shot, and you don't have to do that. As a matter of fact, it's a better choice many times to not shoot at the shot. There are this table is actually a perfect example of when I'm aggressive and I should not be. Um, I get away with it. This is actually a run, but I shouldn't have. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here, I'm going to slip between the 3 and the 9 and try to spin around for the 3 in the corner. Now, if you look at where I've left this is an extremely thin cut. It's almost a 90-degree angle to cut the 3 in. I'm going to have to hit it hard to have enough speed to get there, and I'm going to run into the 9. There are half a dozen easy safeties from that position where I could lock it up and the other player would have no real play. I got lucky on that. I moved 3 balls around and I ended up not tying anything up, and I'm going to get out because of it. But in a tournament, that would have been a bad shot. That would have been a horrible shot for me to actually shoot. I should have played the 3 to the rail and played the cue either behind the 8 or behind the 9. We do these things all the time. We take bad shots, we get lucky on them, and then we think that we did the right thing. Well, the truth is that if you tone your aggression down, you'll win more matches. How many matches have you seen where a player runs down to the 7 or the 8, is out of line and misses the shot, and the other player pockets 1 or 2 balls and gets out? How many times have you yourself run all the way down and not gotten out, and then you end up stuck and the other player wins? If you tone your aggression down, you will win more games, win more matches. Now, I'm not saying don't run the table if you can run the table. What I'm saying is that when there's a question, play for the safe. Or, as you just saw, I'm not a fan of two-way shots, but that was a two-way shot. You're better than you think you are. Just tone down the aggression.